Greetings, this is SkySaunders saying, what's current? Let me get my sponsors. Mr. Peng, LifeStrongApparel.com, LifeStrongApparel. I'll say that again, LifeStrongApparel.com. You can go there for all your different needs. If you want treats for your dog, and if you want sea moss, you want purple sea moss, if you want sea moss gel, if you want a snapback, you can go there. Make sure you put in the promo code Skyler20, SKYLER20, and you'll get 20% off all your purchases. So ensure that you do that, and tell Mr. Peng that the silly guy SkySaunders sent you. All right. Also, Beha Jackson, BEEJACKSON 5478 on YouTube.com. When you go there, make sure you subscribe to his channel. Subscribe. Make sure you get all his subscriptions. He's got sardines on the grill. He's got fried chicken, near beer, and he's talking about female strippers. So if you like any or all of those things, make sure you head over there and check his site out. That's on YouTube. Beha Jackson. Also, if you like to see Call of Duty action he gets sick with the SIG. He uses the sniper rifle. He's looking for that pink mist. His name is Dot Focus, DOTFOCUS _. If you go to twitch.tv/DOTFOCUS/about, you will find all his different entries and different videos. So go ahead and check him out and make sure that you tell the silly guy SkySaunders sent you. All right, I got to talk about it. Hot New Hip Hop put it as their top story. Nobody missed this one, I don't think. I don't think anyone missed it. If you did miss it, I'll tell it to you right now. Mr. Conan O'Brien, my childhood hero, one of my childhood heroes. I think second to Johnny Carson, maybe best Tonight Show host, even though he hosted for 3 months. But late night talk show host, Conan O'Brien is definitely number one in my book. Next, if he's barring Johnny Carson, but he had a bit about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. He said, now is the middle of the show. It's time for Kendrick. I'm paraphrasing, but he said it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile. So I was like, whoa, that's gonna create some waves. And he said, no, don't worry, I'm lawyered up. He got at Drake on the Oscars. I was like, wow, that was pretty big. Conan O'Brien, that was amazing. That was a good look. I appreciated that very much. He said, I got to get this one in. His writers are mostly in their 20s or in their late teens or mid 20s, maybe early 30s. They wrote that for him. He didn't write that, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure he didn't write that. He has an appreciation for hip hop. He's interviewed Ice Cube, Jay-Z, and even Kendrick Lamar. So he's not far removed from hip hop. He's not a total outsider, but he's more so folk music and indie rock and rock and roll, classic rocks, things like that. That's more so his set. But he knows better. He knows who Kendrick Lamar and Drake are. He knows them who they are. And he made it a point to show that he knew who they are when he made that remark. And that everybody was and the artist is like, oh wow, okay, I see you, Conan O'Brien, part of the hip hop set. You wouldn't expect him, this guy from Brookline, Massachusetts. He's 6'5", this orange red hair, pale skin, been in the comedy game for over 30 years, almost 40 years. Worked his way to the top. He got shafted. It's a sad shame what happened to him with what happened with Jay Leno and Jimmy Fallon and all this stuff that happened to him. He could have got the Tonight Show spot, which he well deserved. But that just got all bungled and kind of a mess. But he came out of it, way beyond anything. Let me see. Team Coco. Team Coco is crazy. Team Coco is insane. They have so much. He has so many supporters. I'm seeing it right now. Team Coco has 8.95 million subscribers. 8.95 million. That is really good. That is excellent. That's really great. That shows his how he extends himself and how he shows himself to be. That's extraordinary. That is absolutely extraordinary. How he didn't say, "Oh well, I'm just give up my hand in the sand and just keep moving and whatever the case may be." He said, "Nope, I'm going to go ahead and do my own thing, show my own way, and get it popping. I'm gonna get this popping. I'm gonna do this YouTube thing. I'm gonna get my my podcast game on. That's what I'm gonna do." And he did it, like I'm doing right now. This is my first show I think I'm doing live without a live chat. I'm seeing how it goes. This is all experiment. It's all experimental. This is the beauty of what this thing is. I'm gonna see how much feedback I get, how much viewers I get, how much I don't get. I see about it, but I'm having fun. This is what the whole point of this is. It's all about having fun, having a good time, and I'm having a good time with this. If you were with me last night, pause. I was doing the Oscar show. I was live streaming it and doing commentary on each thing, all the way up to a point where my system in my house, I don't know how to get around it. There's probably a way to get around it, but it blocked me from listening to it on my phone. So I didn't know how to possibly go on and just listen to it somewhere else. But I got about 2 hours worth of it, so that was pretty encouraging. Conan O'Brien, though, his performance, I give him a strong A-. He did very well. He did excellent. It wasn't like perfect. It wasn't like completely seamless, but most of his jokes landed. Most of his commentary was great. Most of his jousting, his going back and forth with Nick Offerman was pretty clever. I thought that was on par with some of the best moments of the night. They used the sandworms. I'll never understand that whole franchise. I have to read the books. Maybe I have to read the books. But Dune seems like overwrought, boring, and just like useless. I don't derive any virtues from it. I don't derive any lessons from it. I don't derive any sense of ethics or values from it. I just don't get Dune. I don't get it. I don't understand the Dune series, Dune Part 2. I don't care. I don't care. I just don't. I don't understand it. I'm stupid. I don't get it. Somebody gotta break it down to me like it's Barney. Break it down to me Barney style, then I'll understand it. I think with Conan O'Brien's, he's used to the sandworm playing the harp. I think it was like that. I thought that was clever. He's harping. Get it? He's harping on the idea of how senseless that whole franchise is. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But maybe it's not for me because it's took in at least $1 billion, I think, by now, something like that. Let me see. Dune franchise. It's a 1984 film, a 2000 television miniseries, the first film in the 2021 sequel, and one in 2024. There's a lot. There's video games, there's soundtracks. But let me see. I'm just gonna go to the recent 2021 first one. It took in this amount of money. Hold on. Can we go? Where we going? Can we go? Okay. Off of a budget of 165 million, it took in 407.7 million. Okay, so that's almost half a billion, excuse me. And the sequel, it against a $190 million budget took in $714.4 million. So that's like $1.1 billion. I'm hating though. I'm not hating on the success. That's great, wonderful, get that money. I'm just hating on the fact that I just don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. So, but yeah. So Conan O'Brien, he had great. He has a self-deprecating comedic style. He has a very, he puts himself down, but then he puffs himself up. It's weird symbiosis. He has a weird kind of system that he plays on. He puffs himself up and he says, I'm pretty good at this. I'm crushing this. I'm doing well. And then he'll say like, oh well, that's like that. He'll show a picture of himself as a child and say, oh, that was me at 38 years old. Like he just had that air about him. And that's why I go back to the NBC late night show when it was in the year 2000. So that was like 97 to 99, because they were saying like, what's going to happen in the year 2000. So I was watching it back then at that age. I was like, what was that? 9 to 11 years old. So that was extraordinary. That was extraordinary, actually. So with Conan saying this line against Drake, I'm lawyered up. I thought that was pretty clever. I thought that was pretty good. He said Kendrick Lamar going to call Drake a pedophile. I thought I was like, whoa, okay. I see your writers. Your writers got that. Your 22-year-old writer doesn't even know what September 11th, 2001 was like. 22 years old. But he wrote that joke for you, or she wrote that joke for you. That was extraordinary. I think that was probably one of the best moments of the night. I thought that was absolutely brilliant on his behalf, and it really really changes the scope of things. All right, all right, no, I'm not going to. So he really I think he nailed it. He maybe asked if they do the asking. I don't know how he was chosen. He's going to get an award later on this month, the Mark Twain Prize for comedy. He's well deserved. Like I said, he was. My dad was like a Jay Leno guy. I was like, Jay Leno. I think it's cool that he has so many cars and classic cars and stuff like that. I think the car culture is cool, but I never found him to be cool, really. Jay Leno was like, oh, little guy. Oh. But I thought Conan was always cool. He always had like the best timing. He always had the best timing for his jokes, I thought. And he still does, but he's really smart. He went to Harvard when Harvard was Harvard, not like it is now, the DEI cesspool, it is now. He went when it was a premier school, one of the best schools in the world, not just in the nation, but in the world. And he graduated like top percentage in his class. He was part of the Harvard Lampoon. If I'm pronouncing it right, I'm stupid, so I don't know if I even said that right. I think it's the Harvard Lampoon. Harvard. Yeah, the Harvard Lampoon. Yeah. He was the president of that, I think. Yeah. So he wrote for The Simpsons. He wrote for Saturday Night Live. He wrote for good gigs. Those are institutions. What is that? SNL celebrating 50 years. I think what is it? The Simpsons has been on television for I think 35 years or something like that, or 36 years almost. I think it is. So he definitely knows where longevity is, and I still think it's amazing how he didn't like just kowtow. That he just he didn't just say, "Oh, well, I might as well hang up my spurs. That's all I can do. I can't do much else." He said, "No, I'm going on this internet thing, do this Team Coco, do all these podcasts, and I'm going to make it special. I'm going to make that righteous. I'll make it great." I thought that was extraordinary. But yeah, so whatever 23, 21-year-old, 20-year-old writer said, you know what, this is timely. This will be perfect. You won't be able to say it probably ever again. Get your, we'll say you got your lawyers up because Drake is famous for shooting lawsuits at people. He just might shoot a lawsuit at Conan O'Brien. But like he said, I don't know if that was part of the joke or not. But I would suspect that he has, some good lawyers just in case Drake wants to get cute. So, salute to Kendrick Lamar and Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien, he was going hard on all, everybody. He was saying, it doesn't look like he has any work done. He just looks like he's his age. I thought that was funny. He's 61, I think, or 63. Let me make 100% sure. How old is he? He's 61. 61 years old. His podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, has been going on since 2018. He starred in the 2024 movie Conan O'Brien Must Go on Max. I mean, this guy is great. Irish Catholic, the super cool haircut that he has. Salute to him for that. Because not a lot of people can pull that off. He reminds me of like if Howard Rourke went into comedy. You don't know who Howard Rourke is? Google. Get on Google. Go DuckDuckGo. Go on Yahoo. Go on Bing. Do what you got to do. But he looks like a Howard Rourke if he ever did stand up or something like that. That's what he looks like. He just exudes, cheeriness, and it's in his self-deprecation and in his self affirmation too. He deprecates and affirms almost in the same sentence. Like he'll joke, but it's like serious at the same time. It's like he had the exchange with him and Nick Offerman. He was saying like, "Tell me the real." He was like, "You keep interrupting my monologue," and he's like, "I'm just doing what's part of the scenes." And he was like, "Well, explain." I'm paraphrasing all of this, but he's like, "Explain what I told you to write. What I told you to write, and what's all written down. Just say that." He was like, Conan O'Brien is the greatest comedian of all time. Like, he's joking, but even there's truth in jest. So he's like, he's saying he's pretty goddamn good. That's pretty much what he's doing. So I have to respect that tremendously. Tremendous respect for him for that. One person in the room, whoever you are, I can't tell who you are because I have no live chat. I'm just experimenting now. 4 likes, but one person in here. It was 2 people. That's the most amount of people I've seen. It was 2 people that were in here. But this is just an experiment. I hate doing it because it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. I don't know. I want to be that very focused, driven. Know the number. I know most of my numbers. I know I have an 18% female correspondents. I have people in the UK. I have people in Canada. I have people in what else? Estonia. I have people in Denmark. I have people all over the world. But I just have to. I want to be that one that knows exactly. Can pinpoint what is going on. 2 people in here. 5 likes. Not mad. I can't say it with Rick James because he would say it. But yeah, Conan O'Brien got tip my hat to the man. Tip my hat. I think he's funny, way funnier than Stephen Colbert. Seems like he had to get that money. I'm not mad at Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert had to get that bag. You got a big bag at CBS. Conan O'Brien, Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert got a bigger bag than he ever thought he would get because he was at basic cable. He's probably getting 1 million, 2 million in a year to do the Colbert Report, which I loved. The Colbert Report is excellent, great. I know it seems like I'm kissing ass to these white men, but I have to give them their credit. I have to give them credit because that's the ones that were examples. They're available. I would give credit to Roy Wood Jr. Roy Wood Jr. had me rolling at his phone jump, his phone jacks. His phone jacks are legendary. They are some of the greatest like mental games. He's only been caught like twice, and he was fired for one of them. he was talking about a slave, he was talking about a cruise ship, but it was like a slave ship or something like that. See, it's crazy already, but that's what he was doing. That was his whole role. So it just hey, hey, what you want me to do? But I was too young. I watched Arsenio Hall when I was like 3 years old, and I remember In Living Color, and that was great, excellent. Keenan and Ivory Wayans, all the Wayans brothers, and sister. Let me make sure I get his name right. David Allen Greer. Now I gotta remember his name. I remember his name. Tommy Davidson. Thank you. Tommy Davidson. Who am I thanking? Thinking myself. Thinking Wikipedia. Tommy Davidson. Jim Carrey is another white guy, but if you're funny, you're funny. I don't care. I don't do that. Oh, I don't listen to black comics. Oh, this is blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. That's BS. That's BS. Complete BS. You listen to what's good, what's funny, whoever's hilarious. That's who you give your dollar to. That's who you give your viewership to. That's who is rewarded, not because of the color of their skin, but the content of their yucks, other knock jokes. 5 likes, one person in here. Whoever that one person is here, salute to you. I don't even know who you are, but I appreciate it. You can always go into my channel and tell me, nah, that live show wasn't this guy. That wasn't it. You need to have a live chat, which I'm probably going to bring back tomorrow. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. But I just wanted to see one day, at least one day, or maybe I might do the whole week. No live chat, maybe, and then see the next week, see what with the live chat, bring it back. But I just wanted to test it out. I wanted to try it out. So back to Conan. I mean, the guy is winning. It looked like he could have just said, you know what, that's it. And he could have. He had the money. He must have at least $5-10 million on hand when he was finished with the Tonight Show and that whole debacle. He could have said, you know what, I'm gonna pack this up. But he went to TBS and they made fun of him there. He did the reversal of what Stephen Colbert did. He went from Colbert was on basic cable and he went to the network. Conan was on the network and he went to basic cable and they made fun of that too. Because he knows better. He knows that there are people actually struggling in this country, in the world. He knows that there's people that are, don't have that many means. And this is the weird thing too. There's people with billions of dollars that make him look like a pauper. But he has enough millions of dollars that he can sustain his life for his wife and his children. That I think are grown now. I think they're full grown. But yeah. So he just seems very sincere, and he seems like there's a sense of a sadness about him. I don't know if it's that Irish Catholic guilt that he's brought up with and through his time, but I I would imagine that has to do something to do with it. But he's that's where that that's a cliche actually. From great comedy comes deep pain. Most of the ethnicities, there's very few WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant comedians. There's a lot of black, Jew, Irish, Indian, oppressed people, Italian, those kind of people. There's very few just waspy kind of like, I'm just a white guy. I have a great time. I have a 401k and I have a great family. It's not the same. It's like, oh my, oy vey, I'm Jewish. I don't know what I'm doing. That's my terrible Jewish accent. Please don't be offended. Don't recommend me for a strike or something. That's not hate. 6 people like, 1 person viewing. See, this is comedy right here. I love this. This is great. This is great. So I have to give him all the praise, Conan O'Brien, because he stepped up. First time hosting, he was like saying, this is your first time, hosting. So such late in life, people were in their 30s, I think, when they first started hosting the Oscars, or at least in their 40s. But he's like in 61. What? What are you doing up there on stage? You need a walker? You need a wheelchair? What you doing? You need a cane? Don't fall down. But yeah. So the night. I'm not going to recap all that. The winners now. I have to watch Anora. I wasn't planning on watching Anora. I thought Brutalist was going to rule everything, or Wicked. I still have to see Wicked. And of course they do the, oh my God, he's the first black man to ever win the Super Bowl, for costuming. Like, great. Wow, wonderful. Who cares? Like, that's how sad we are. That's still 2025. 2025, we're still worried about first. Still worried about first. He's always the first black man to win for best costume. He was the first black man to win best costume. See his name, Paul Tazewell or Tazewell. Becomes the first black man to win an Oscar for best costume design. Paul Tazewell is the first black man to win an Oscar for best costume design for Wicked. Makes history as first black man. Like, this is just sad. We've had a black president, or at least a mixed president. What the hell are you talking about? First black man to win. It's like, who cares? He's a great person as a production wise. He's productive. I don't know his an individual life, but as a producer, as somebody that creates, builds things, he's extraordinary. He's excellent. He just won an Oscar for his talent. Who cares if he's the first black person? What the hell does that have to do with anything? It has nothing to do with anything. He has a higher concentration of melanin. He's the first one to do it that way. I don't know. I mean, I could see if it was like 1965 or 1954 or something like that. We would be like, oh my God, yeah. Definitely, yeah, black man. Oh, great. Even then, though. Even then. It's like 2025 and we're still, the first black man. It's ridiculous. It's really sad. It's really sad. It's the deplorable nature we find ourselves. It's really sad. It's a shame. We should be more than that. But otherwise, I thought the night was pretty good. Like I said, I have to watch Nora. I watched The Brutalist. Prepare yourselves. It's not for the kiddies. It's not for the kids. It may be uncomfortable if you're around, your adult, your children, or if you're around your parents and you're an adult. Even if everybody's an adult, it still may seem like. And then there's a scene where you're like, if you ever seen the movie Last Tango in Paris, and there's a scene with Marlon Brando and Butter, it's similar to that. It reminded me of that the most. That's what it reminded me of. Because it was very, slow and deliberate, and but there was no butter. There was no butter in this movie. That's all I'm going to say. Watch it. Watch The Brutalist. Take a good 3 to 4 hours out of your day. Just make a window long enough to watch the movie. Because that's the only movie I think I've seen in full. I was watching, oh God, what is the Catholic movie called? Conclave. I was watching most of it, and I liked the very beginning, and it deserves this Oscar. I think it's for Best Adapted Screenplay. It deserves it. Very great writing, great pacing, very great, storytelling. One of the finer pictures of the year that I've seen so far. As much as I have seen. I didn't see what Zoe Saldana won for, and she was saying sorry. She didn't have to say sorry to the Mexican community or something like that. I forget what it's called. Hold on. Zoe Saldana. Danya. Don't forget the Danya. Here it is. Emilia Perez. I don't really intend on watching the movie, but I may watch it. It's a shame. It's pretty much a box office bomb, even though it's a winner. It was $26 million, and it only took in $15.4 million at the box office. And everybody's screaming and hollering and yelling, "Oh my God, you have to go to the theaters. You have to go to the theaters." For what? For what? People are getting more money. Don't get it confused. People aren't hurting as badly as they are. We're going okay. The economy is pretty good. It's not great. It's not excellent. It's not free market, laissez-faire capitalism. But it's going on pretty well. It's going to pretty well. And people are buying bigger houses, mansions sometimes, and they have theaters in their house. Now, what would you rather have? What would you rather have? You can have the communal experience, or you can have the individual experience, which I like. I mean, it's cool when it's sometimes, but it's kind of goofy too at the same time. I'll give you an example later, but let me go on this thread. So you have a big house, you have a theater, you may have two theaters. You can start the movie, you can pause the movie, go and get some pretzels, some chips, some dip, or some caviar, or some lobster tails, and some shrimp if you want, depending on your socioeconomic status. Just realize that there are people that are getting more in life, and so people aren't really looking at the theaters, even modest, ideas. You can have like one of those 60-inch screens like we have, like my house. I sat down in my chair. I had my water. I think I had some candy or something like that. I watched the whole Brutalist from I think I fell asleep a little bit, to be honest, but I watched most of the Brutalist from the overture to the intermission to the ending. And I thought it was, oh boy, what am I saying? I didn't like it. I didn't like its appeal. I didn't like how people, oh my God, it's like, oh, the cinematography. I thought the cinematography was okay. I didn't like the architecture. I don't like brutalist architecture. I like modernist and Art Deco architecture. Those are my favorite kind of schools of architecture and art. I think it is Adrian Brody's performance. Yeah, he deserves the Oscar. And then he had the 22-year anniversary with him kissing Aunt Halle Berry. They kissed at like a press junket or something like that. or on one of the red carpets after he won his second Academy Award for Best Actor, which I think he's great. He's a great actor. He's not the greatest though. I'll say that he's not the greatest. I think some of my favorite actors of his generation or a little bit before are Jake Gyllenhaal. Michael B. Jordan's an excellent actor. Trying to think who. Jesse Eisenberg should have won in 2010 for his role as Mark Zuckerberg, but they were hating. That was hating. That's Oscars hate. See, they don't like young. They usually don't like young unless it's something that reflects to the old. Who remembers the King's Speech? Who cares about the King's Speech? Nobody. Nobody cares about the King's Speech. It won. I mean, I think they won 3 Oscars. The Social Network, best editing, best score, and I think the final one was my favorite writer, director, but my favorite writer before he became a director, Aaron Sorkin. I think with that he won for best adapted screenplay. Yeah, so that was up for best picture, and it went to the King's Speech because that was like, oh my God, they're cursing at each other and they're using profanity. It's so funny. Like that's what I think people really grasp from that. And I just thought this was the Social Network like pissed me off. It was such a great movie, excellent movie. It was so good. It was so great. I thought it was excellent. But the Academy likes old. It likes old or something endearing or close, to the heart. What they can say. I think that's what happened with Anora. I haven't seen Anora, but the feeling of it, seems like kind of like they said a Cinderella story, so that's something they can relate to. 15 years ago, they couldn't relate to. They couldn't relate to Social Network. Couldn't relate to it. They're like, who's this kid? What is he doing? I mean, the writing is amazing, and the sound is, yeah, the music, the scores. But I mean, Facebook, Face Smash, what is this? Nobody's going to even talk about Facebook in 10 years. Okay, we'll see about that. I mean, it's just treason against the mind, really. It's really treason against the mind because when you don't get what you deserve, that's treason against the mind. That's what I think. One of the winners was oh god damn, I'm missing. Wait, what's his name? He was in Jesse Eisenberg's film. Kieran Culkin won an Academy Award. His debut alongside his photo brother was Home Alone. He was the cousin, not even a brother. He was his cousin. And this man is 42 years old. He looks like he's in his 20s though. Give him his props. So, but let me see. I loved Halle Berry because I didn't even realize that was her. She presented an award. Sad what happened to her career. Her career is like, Like, it was like right after Oscars, she was like, I have to do something totally different. I have to do something that's no one's expecting. I'll be Catwoman. And I was like, yeah, all right. You got the Razzies ready? Y'all got the Razzies? Y'all ready for the raspberries? I think she was the first one to or not the first one of the first ones to receive her Razzie, and I think she had her Oscar with her in the other hand or something like that. If I remember correctly, something like that. If you're not familiar with a raspberry or a Razzie is an award, which is not an award. It's like the Ig Nobels. It's not really a Nobel Prize. It's like the opposite of a Nobel Prize, the opposite of an Oscar. It's like the terrible movies are selected for consideration. So Megalopolis, like, I don't want people to hate Megalopolis for what Megalopolis is. I saw Megalopolis, and I was more so intrigued by the idea of it being uh, 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 an allegory, much sort than anything. And the cinematography was a hell of a lot better than The Brutalist. The cinematography was beautiful. It was great, great colors, great. The Brutalist was flat and ugly and low and blank and boring. Just like the Brutalist architecture. But Megalopolis was like, this is daring, this is, ambitious, this is extraordinary. But it had its many flaws too. I'm not saying all of its praises. Megalopolis's script could have been a lot better. The pacing could have been a lot better. And that's just me. But I would choose Megalopolis over The Brutalist for more reasons to watch it. If you just want to watch it, I may have to watch them both again just to see, or at least Megalopolis again, just to see what it's more about. So I think with I'm going all over the place here. I'm going throughout the entire night. I wasn't planning to do this, but the spirit moved me, as they say in the church circles. The spirit moved me. So I think with the amount of coverage of the Oscars, it just was really a great night. I didn't see all of it. Like I said, I have to go back and watch. It's gonna be on YouTube, I'm sure. Queen Latifah give a tribute to Quincy Jones, because he could do that. He could have a super big tributes on the Grammys and the Oscars. I don't know if they did a super tribute on NAACP. I know they showed them in the memoriam, but I don't know if they had them a huge kind of whole, extravaganza for him. But Conan was on it. He was modern, he was hip, he was cool, like he always is. He goes to that's the little thing he does when he has the little string, the invisible string. He's always been like a cool interviewer, and I think he warms up to his who he's interviewing. I remember he was interviewing Jay-Z. He was like really cool, but like Jay-Z was like not really interested in David Letterman until later. Like he later he was cool with David Letterman. Before he was like, David Letterman asked him a question something about his name. He was like, so that's quite an interesting name. And Jay-Z was just like, yeah, it is. Yeah. And he was like, David Letterman was like, how'd you get that name? Yeah, I got my name Sean from my mother. Yeah. That was it. Like that, he was not giving him any like real indication of how he should be able to address him or something like that. Like he should be like address him just because he's a white man or something like that, on those terms. He was just telling him like that's my name Sean. He wasn't addressing Jay-Z. He was addressing Sean. But when he was with Conan, he was more, engaged. It was more funny. It was funnier. It was a little bit funnier. He had been thoroughly, his interest was thoroughly piqued when it came to Conan O'Brien, and that's just me. I just thought he was cool. And he explains his style of comedy. When you have something that's really stupid and then you can make something smart out of it, that's when you have really great comedy for him, for Conan O'Brien's taste. That's really what he has like championed in his abilities. He's been able to show how distinctive and powerful he really is, and doing that. So I think that you have to truly show yourself to be who you really want to be, because he has done that time and time again. he could have just been like TBS. What TV? And he was like, yeah, TBS. Yeah, TBS. Yeah, let's do TBS. Come on, let's do TBS. Like that was just extra. Like nobody. And then COVID hit, and it was like, damn, like he can't catch a break. The guy can't catch a break. They took his show from him. He had to go to cable. Then what are you gonna do? And I don't understand with Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart baffles me. He never went to network again. I think he was on network for like a little while or something like that. He did something on the network. I can't remember what it was, but I remember he did mostly cable. He did MTV. Then he was on Comedy Central for like 15 years, something like that, 16 years, something like that, or maybe even less. But now he's back. He does Mondays on the Daily Show. Does he even get paid for that? I don't even think. What's the draw? If Trevor Noah didn't want to do it, and Roy Wood Jr. didn't want to do it, I can't see anyone. Why would anybody want to be on the Daily Show? Something's toxic about that. Something's very toxic. I think that's one moment. Yes. I'm getting ready to run down to Walmart. I have to go now because it involves the fish. Okay. I'll go with you. Okay. We're at the end. This broadcast will be ended in just a few moments. I have to take care of some serious issues. Thank you very much. Take care.